good friend.
Okay.
Can you send the NIR article?
How long do you have?
How long
Really?
do I have?
Yeah,
How many
really.
viewers do you have? Every million, you can have an extra 2 hours.
Okay, well, we don't have quite a million yet.
Well, I'll
but-
get you a million.
Okay, thank you.
By the way, guys, make sure I look good because that's more important to me than anything. And get the red socks.
Yeah, the red socks are good.
People
The red
always
socks are
like
important.
red socks.
Let's roll. Can we
Okay,
roll?
because
We
there's
are.
no
Can I
age.
introduce you?
Oh,
all
your
right.
video, but this is not.
It is video.
Oh, you
but it's
have
okay.
You have
Yeah.
a video podcast?
Yeah, we do.
It's
going to
gonna be on
I
YouTube.
love that.
Yeah.
Let's make it viral if you can.
Yes.
it
Oh, I'd love to
viral.
do
I have-
that.
So I'm really excited to have you here because you are my old boss from J. Crew. You are Merchant Prince. You took Gap from 400 million to almost 15 billion. You created Old Navy. You are involved with Alex Mill now. You're the head of Drexler Ventures. You are the man, the myth, the legend, the mentor, the mensch.
You forgot Madewell. It's
Madewell, yes.
How could we forget
my
Madewell?
favorite.
Beanie
I'm
Beans, well, that
very
was-
big on names.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, Old Navy, you know
Yeah.
the story
Yes,
there?
yes.
Named
Yes,
after
we're
a
gonna talk
bar
about
in
this.
Paris.
Love that.
My board of,
They hated it, right?
well, the Fisher family had no clue, but they made multi-fortunes. Don didn't like it. I found it on a bar in Paris. I registered it, no one owned it. And I said to a woman, Maggie Gross, who worked with me at Ann Taylor, I said, there's the name. And the Old Navy story, to me, is the best story about hunch, about detective work, curiosity, and I am addicted to the true crime podcast. Why? Because you remember, well, you guys are too young. There was Columbo, was a detective.
I remember
Sure.
Columbo.
Every
Yeah.
time you walked out of a room, one more question,
Yeah.
one more.
Yep.
And that was, so anyway, so that I named it. Then we spent, in today's money, they didn't like the name. We went to 2 consultants to name my children. You know, hello, we named the clothes. I said, who wants to know it's an Alice Polo? I want to know a name, like we did that pant, which is, everyone did that high sport pant, and they called it whatever. I said, don't call, it was Emily. I said, that's meaningless. So I always say, if you know, you know, which is true.
Yeah.
And it's called the IK, if you, K.
IKYKY.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's the name of the pan. We named the pan. I was on 9th Street. And I said, I hate these generic names. I don't know how we got to talking about it. And I said, don't call it whatever. So someone said, how about the 9th Street pan? You'll remember that. Ludlow suits.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
On this podcast, we're really like, our hypothesis is like adversity is gasoline or an engine.
Is diverse, what'd you say?
Adversity
Is what did you say?
is an engine, is the gasoline, and intuition is the driver.
Fucking right on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Friends of
Yeah.
mine, I had huge adversity in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And friends of, we talk about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people who've had adversity, not the fancy Dans. I call them big shots around. I grew up in the Bronx when
Yes.
it was the Bronx.
Yeah.
But anyway, my grandparents, there was like a kibbutz in my,
Yeah.
I was here and the 3 aunts were there.
I didn't know one of your aunt's names was Eleanor, by the way,
How
What-
would you know that?
because you said it in your CFDA acceptance speech,
CFDA, how many years ago was
2015.
that?
Well, I did my research.
What did I say about my aunt?
They stepped in after your mom passed.
Yeah, because
And
my
you had-
father was an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about adversity.
We want to talk about that. When I was listening and digging into you and your story, one thing that you say very often is you talk about how it's important to remember that the windshield is larger than the rear view mirror. And that's something that really stuck with me. I think a lot of people think that it's really important to sit in the past and digest and
Most people.
understand what went wrong and live there, and then they forget to propel themselves forward. And it seems like you have a very different approach to that. And so, can you talk about that?
Well, it's different, but it's the key ingredient
yeah.
in any business. You know, when I was with Steve Jobs, who I idolized, he would go forward years down the road, and you can only imagine if he lived what he would have out there today. His next project, which he loved, was a car,
Yeah,
an
I
electric
heard you
car.
mention that. Yeah.
But you know, he was a big loss to the world.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, I think you got to use the rear view mirror to see, and a lot of people don't even know how to use that, because if you have a great style, people say, oh, it didn't sell well. And I said, what does that mean, it didn't sell well? Well, if you only had 20 hamburgers in stock and you sold 15 out of the 20, what would have happened if you had 100 hamburgers with a little hamburger stand? You know, hamburgers is an easy thing because they always sell if they're good. I was at a shop yesterday, Pop-Up Bagels.
Oh yeah.
The founder,
Shout out.
Adam, called me because I was on I was on Instagram with take onion bagels from home, and I take them to St. Ambrose to toast
I love that.
because they know me and I like onion bagels.
Right.
So
Why
I
don't they
had-
carry onion bagels?
Well, it's
Not a crowd
It's
pleaser?
too Yiddishy bagels,
I
you know.
see.
So having toast, and someone, I guess Blair, said, "Well, let's get a picture of you having the bagel." So I had it. Adam gets in touch with me, who started Pop-Up Bagel, and we have a conversation. I went there. You've been there, by the way?
No.
No, I haven't.
Guy's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Nice.
Amazing.
Good. We'll have to go.
So I was chatting with him, and I asked him, well, what are the best-selling bagels? I always ask everyone the best-selling whatever
Yeah.
it is. And he said the everything bagel. I said, well, how's onion bagels? We don't carry them. I said, you don't carry onion bagels? I was stunned. So he was going to make me an onion bagel, but I did have an everything bagel, which is his number one, this past weekend. And I said, don't bother with the onion bagel. I love everything too. So he I taste it. And, I asked the counter guy. I said, people ask for onion bagels. Who else do you ask? But someone who works with customers, which most, I call them big shots, people don't bother. He said, all the time. So I said, Adam, you see, all the time. Every business or every organization, in my personal opinion, you call it education, nonprofit, business, you look at what's down the road.
Yes.
And I always say the unexpected is so much better than the expected.
Yeah.
I look at the cars today because I used to collect classics.
What's your favorite?
Well, my favorite then, well, I had two collections. One German, I got rid of that. And then the other was vintage Toyota trucks.
Oh, I love
They
that.
were,
Nice.
it's a work of art.
Wait, the
And
Toyota
this-
FJ is one of my
The
favorite
Toyota
cars.
FJ. I don't know what this
They
is.
don't
one?
make it anymore. The Toyota FJ. Do you know that
Oh, yeah,
one?
I had one. an
You had
original.
one? I love that
Green,
car.
and it had like
They don't make it
3,000 miles.
anymore.
I got rid of them then. Oh, you know what my favorite car is?
What?
And they discontinued that. I have a 1998 Toyota Land Cruiser.
Wow.
It drives better than any car I have. It is almost 30
Almost 30
years
years old.
old.
Yeah.
Land Cruiser.
Land
That's
Cruiser.
the key
Land
ingredient.
Cruiser.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have funny key ingredient. I have a lot of stories, by the way.
Yes,
And they
we love
all-
your stories.
Yeah, well, you want to hear about a chef salad story? But let me finish.
I want to
on the
hear
car.
about. Yeah, I want to hear
Oh.
about the rearview mirror.
Okay, so the rear view mirror, it's I don't make up some of these quotes, but someone. Oh, did you know Joe Langford?
Yeah.
Her going away present to me was a book of quotes,
saw
my
that.
quotes. You
It's
saw that?
amazing. I saw that.
How'd you see it?
You posted on,
On
your
your
Instagram.
Instagram.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
On your Insta.
So, anyway, so rear view mirror means what happened yesterday. And I find most people, all personal opinion here, they look at what happened and they try to replicate it, because if they bought too few of something, the next season in my world, they'll overbuy it because they're looking back. They could have sold 1 million. They sold 500,000. Those numbers, normal numbers,
Yeah.
but in apparel. And then they buy the million.
Yeah.
And then we get killed with having too much. It's expected. People get tired of novelty and things like that. And and you know where I got the quote windshield? On my Instagram or LinkedIn. You know, I schmooze with. Someone used that quote. I said, thank you. That's how I got it.
Yeah. It's amazing.
You know, everything in the world to me is based on gut, instinct,
Yeah.
imagination.
Yes.
In my world.
Yes.
I can't speak for technology, but I can in the
Okay.
sense.
Well, I have a follow up on that
ahead, let's go.
because when I think about don't look in the rear view, like you have to
Someone
find.
sent me a rear view mirror.
I
right?
saw.
I love that.
love that.
Oh, I
It was
did that
amazing.
too?
And the fact that you were carrying it around in your
Yeah,
tote
it was excellent.
was excellent.
So
but-
you watch my stuff.
We do,
yeah, we
yeah.
do.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we love
We
it.
enjoy
It's
it.
so entertaining.
Yeah.
So
It's
let's
great.
make it a show.
Yeah, you should.
No, you make this a show. I'm
Would love
serious.
to.
I've asked a lot of people who I like, and that's not most people, so it's not a lot.
Wow.
But I
We
said,
feel honored.
I want to. What's that called? A stand or a pulpit?
A
whatever.
soapbox
pulpit.
and a pulpit.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
You should have
Yes.
one.
I agree.
There's
but
an insight there because there's something about fear and experience. Because, like, for me, there are things that happened in my rearview mirror where I'm like, I'm never fucking doing that again. And I feel like sometimes that stuff can hold you back.
you have to make
Yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah.
I've made so many mistakes.
Yeah.
And I worry a lot. I'm an anxious worrier.
Interesting.
People
really.
think, oh,
Yeah.
he sold this and he did this. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Shocking.
It's like
That
you're,
is surprising.
you're kidding.
No,
Yeah, I'm
that
not
is
kidding.
surprising.
Sure.
No,
Yes.
people say, why do you do what you do? And I say, I'm still climbing the mountain. I need to
Yeah.
prove myself in a way. And the other thing is, this is the first time in my career where I did not have an investor or a boss telling me what color to buy.
Yeah.
Now, that's an exaggeration, but it really isn't, because a woman I work with now, who will be nameless, she comes up with things like that. And I knew her from way back. Her imagination, it's not even, I don't know what you call it. If you're a customer and you act like one and you you see through the windshield in a way, it tells you where the puck is going. To quote, the famous hockey player? You guys know who it is.
I don't know.
Who's the most?
Wayne Gretzky?
Wayne Gretzky.
Nice.
Skate to where the puck
Yeah.
is. I say
Fair.
see around corners.
Yes.
Yeah.
See what's coming, anticipate,
Yeah.
and preempt what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, no one, you don't learn that. I just did mistakes. I worked 12 years in big department stores.
Yeah.
Wasn't my thing, but who knew it wasn't my
Yeah.
thing?
I would love to talk a little bit about adversities that you faced when you were younger. I also grew up with a difficult father.
Well, that's a
and-
compliment to my father. Okay.
I'm just trying to be diplomatic, but
No, you know something? I spent a lot of years hoping he wasn't what I knew he
yeah,
was.
yeah.
He was worse. Go ahead.
Yeah. So how you talk about that in interviews? You talk about the fact that he was a showman, that he
He
didn't
was a what?
showman, like that he
Showman.
or
Showman.
not showman, but like a
Show
He was
off.
bigger
show
than
off,
he
a show.
No, he
yes.
he
Acted
wanted to
big,
be
yeah.
big.
a big shot,
Yeah.
a big shot. yes.
Acted like
Yeah.
that in the kibbutz. He acted like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my uncle was a taxi driver, the other one was whatever. The other two uncles, because in those days, other than my mother, the woman didn't work. My mother worked as a secretary to YMHA. She had cancer. She was very depressed, but she always wanted to keep busy.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine what it was like to be married to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you had a difficult relationship with him. Would you say
Well,
that?
I didn't have a
or-
relationship. I
Yeah.
have one. I have so many tells on him. So when I got successful, there were articles, this, and I never let it go to my head because I have to keep climbing the mountain. And Steve Jobs was the same way. I do admire him, and I did, and I still do, but he was so on the future, and the two really happy days he had at the board meetings was the first day the value of Apple surpassed that of Dell, because I didn't know the story. Michael Dell said there's no reason for Apple. Well, he remembered that, which, as you should, it's an incentive, it's adversity. And then the next one, and he was happy. I don't know how long it lasted, was Microsoft, because they had this fierce battle
Yeah.
years ago. Now, Microsoft is bigger now in value than Apple, but Steve's been not living for 16,
Yeah.
15 years. So I lived very modestly
Yeah.
in the Bronx. I didn't know people anyone who drove a Cadillac in the 50s was like a rich person.
Yeah,
It took
sure.
very little, low bar for me, because I never left the Bronx except I would do errands to the city, which was Manhattan. And anyone who lived in Manhattan, I don't care where they lived, was rich to me. But my father reinforced my ambition by trying so hard
Yeah.
to be a big shot. Like he did dress well, I'll say that. He was, well, the day that I was punctured, I was 16, I used to work. One good thing he did for me was not graciously go to work, you're sleeping too late at 16, 15. And he had no emotional IQ, and he wasn't nice. And by the way, the judgment on that was my 7 cousins who lived like a minute away in the kibbutz, and my mother's 3 sisters who survived her, and even my uncles who married to the sisters. None of them liked him, but they didn't tell me that until way later on. And this is when I was older, getting successful. It was a wonderful article in a magazine. Personally, I love the article. It's all about the writer or the podcastee or whatever. So I called him. I said, Dad, there's a wonderful article. I think it was whatever, Vogue or something. Really nice. Good writer. And he said nastily, "You've seen one, you've seen them all."
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine?
Wow.
And these are the quotes, kind of remember. I have worse stories, but
Yeah.
some of it's very personal.
Yeah,
If
I
I
get
ever
it.
did do a book, which I won't, I'd write about other things. But it was, it was well before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My aunts were
Yeah.
they were my fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, 8 Jewish cousins on the mother's side. I was the only one who went to college in
Wow.
the 60s.
Wow.
And so, I don't know, my aunts always favored me. I'm still close with my cousins, but they always resented me because, they balanced me off.
That's good.
I was 16 when she died. And she was depressed, and, she was very taken with her cancer long term, breast cancer, and then esophageal.
Oh,
She lived for 14 years. I was in denial
Yeah.
about that.
Did you have siblings?
No,
No,
because
just a cousin.
I'm glad I didn't,
Yeah.
but my cousin, I always wanted a sibling,
Yeah.
but the way I grew up was my cousins were like my
Yeah.
siblings.
Yeah.
and I'm close now to really two of them.
So when I hear you speak, I feel like you had this innate ability to then maybe project yourself in the future and manifest
I never,
a
Yeah.
future
no,
for yourself.
it's, I never, until now,
Yeah,
I never really thought about.
yeah.
Now I can't believe like people, they respond to me. Oh, I know you. I meet people. I went to a Yankee game. We're trying to do a collaboration with them.
Fun.
Guy comes up to me. We're in the owner's box, whatever. I was very excited. And a guy comes up to me who runs their collaboration, legends, whatever. And he knew I went to, worked at the Gap. He said, my good friend Doug Kelly, it's very funny. His wife worked there for years. And I said, what was her name? He said, either Kelly or Susan. He didn't say them together, one of the two. Wasn't Susan Kelly? What? Oh, then he said, she said she worked on the Mickey Drexler team. He had no idea I was Mickey. And he said this, and he knew I worked there, but I didn't introduce whatever name. And he said, wow. Anyway, it was like one of those, oh my God.
You're like, that's me.
Oh my God. And I remember her well.
Big thanks to this episode's sponsor, Monarch & Co. Whether you're leading an established brand or building something from the ground up, you know how hard it is to do it all at once. Enter Monarch & Co. Monarch & Co. is a full-service marketing, e-commerce, and creative agency. Their founders come from in-house roles at brands like Supergoop, Nuuly, Nordstrom, bringing that real-world experience and insider understanding to every partnership. They operate like part of your team, adapting quickly, filling gaps seamlessly, and bringing senior-level strategic thinking to every detail. I worked with Monarch when I first started The Big Favorite, and I absolutely loved their hands-on approach to partnering with brands. They're a collective of more than 100 experts who plug in as your fractional team, bridging strategy and execution so you can scale smarter, no matter your size. Monarch works with brands at every stage, from emerging startups to Fortune 500 companies across beauty, apparel, CPG, wellness, and tech. Their expertise spans growth strategy, brand and performance marketing, lifecycle and CRM, e-commerce optimization, branding and creative, data analytics, and more. They really do it all. And this is fun. They're based in Philadelphia, but have a global presence, partnering with brands all over the world. And just last week, their founders, Kristen Hogan and Rachel Smith, were named among Philadelphia Magazine's 150 most influential people. So if you're ready to scale smarter, visit monarchandco.com. That's MONARK and co.com. I have a question, though, because there is something about trauma, especially as a kid going through a really tough time, that does bring intuition. Like they're now sort of doing studies on this.
I don't believe in any studies.
I know, but they're kind of connecting this traumatic experience with the ability to sort of plug
I love
in
that subject,
to
'cause someone
imagination,
adversity,
Yeah.
success, and I love that subject.
Yeah.
And what doesn't get enough credit in this world is good old-fashioned judgment, gut,
Yeah.
instinct,
Yeah.
seeing around corners,
Yes.
and projecting forward.
Yeah.
How were you able to develop that?
Okay, let me give you a theory. I was always escaping
Yeah.
from my environment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't like being at home.
Yeah.
Lived in a ground floor apartment. I didn't know it was ground floor. I never.
Yeah.
But right in the noisy where they used to play ball in the Bronx in the courtyard, and I lived in my fantasy a lot. In fact, my wife said I didn't know the creativity part, and I still don't. I never thought of myself as that, but my head was always out of
Yeah.
my environment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was a very shy kid. I never, never was, I was shy as hell. And because I was kind of had shame, I think, all speculation. So I would imagine not being there. I would imagine not being in the car
Yeah.
with my father and mother. I wanted to be always someplace else.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I looked at the window in
Yeah.
Paris.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to be someone else. And my father was so impressed by the big shots. So I wanted to be the big,
Big
shot
shot.
son.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a dad who owned the company. And these are big shots of, the piece goods guy who sold piece goods. He worked for a coat manufacturer. And he would borrow his boss's Cadillac, Mr. Cohn. So, and so he was bitter and angry. And I never really analyzed him like that.
That was a driver for you.
Yeah, that was a driver. Working hard was a driver.
Yeah.
Saving dollars in my drawer because I always worried. I had an allowance, but
Do you know what the term woo woo means?
What?
Woo woo.
People say woo woo, but
It's sort of like of the spiritual nature. A lot of people attribute the ability to have or hold a vision of something in your head with like a manifestation tactic.
with a what?
A
Tactic?
manifestation tactic. So like the ability to manifest
To
something.
visualize it, and then it
You
becomes
visualize it
reality.
and then it collapses down into your reality, right? Like this is something that Steve Jobs would have talked about. But I'm curious if you've ever connected that, like your ability to have a vision for that thing. Does that make it fast? Does it come in super fast when you
Oh.
can visualize it that way?
Every business I've been involved with, because a lot of them were crappy companies, that's if you don't have the vision, I don't know if it's a woo-woo. Ann Taylor was I worked in the department stores for 12 years. I really did well in hindsight.
Yeah.
I used to go with a woman who was very influential. Katie Murphy was the fashion director. I loved her emotionally and I loved her in business. I was lucky because they assigned Katie to me as my whatever. And, she was older but young, and these days died young too. There's an auditorium at FIT named after her.
Oh, wow.
She was lovely. She was smarter and the best merchant there. Women in those days, whatever. She was the best merchant in the company.
Wow.
But in those days, and even recent, the men,
Yeah.
I've always worked more with women. It wasn't a strategy.
Yeah.
Instinct, gut. They were high emotional IQ, and the guys, I'm generally, they want a raise.
Yeah.
And the women are afraid to ask for raises.
Yeah, it's
The
true.
men,
What advice do you give to women around that?
I tell you what advice, because I say, look, whatever someone gave me, I took. I never negotiated until I negotiated, but it wasn't my thing, still isn't. What advice do I give? Well, I actually have a side business, underpaid woman, but
Hi, nice to meet you.
but I
Tell us
said
more about that.
what I've done is, like, it started probably 15 years ago. Someone was complaining
Oh.
about this very subject.
Oh.
I'll remember who it was,
Okay.
because I do ask people I respect who are doing a great job, and if I see a proxy. But this woman, I said, without you, they have nothing. Go see the owners, who were a lot of them. They don't think of others. And she renegotiated, because sure enough, she was fired, which you knew happens. I didn't like her, and she wasn't thankful at all. But you say thank you to people. I've done it with others. One, I was doing with a woman I worked with. I admired her a lot, and she was building a great business. I looked at the proxy, and I said, you go see the chairman. You've created this much value. No one ever did anything for me, so I always had to work it out and do whatever. So I'm on the phone with her during call. I'll never forget this. And I'm on the phone saying, I kept pushing her. I knew these types. And Dawn was very
What types? Say more.
The types who don't
Didn't ask.
understand they're doing what they do and they're successful because of the people that get them there.
Right.
I had the same. I forgot who I was talking to this morning about
Yeah.
that, and I said, "You go see," and I knew the who was. I knew that whatever prejudices he had, I don't want to say it here, he did. One was woman that I knew. That's the only one I'll say. And it's not him, but it's the way guys like that think. They're still around. I think they're around always, but I don't know. I don't think surveys.
So you think if you are bringing real value, always renegotiate.
No, I think I have to preempt that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not have no one ask you.
Yeah.
You say you reward them,
Yeah.
and you say I can't.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
See, I have.
But that's a choice from a leader. What if you don't have a leader that's that insightful?
Well, it's not even insightful. It's how important are people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always say, I think I did something. Oh, I did an Instagram or LinkedIn the other day. I said, you know, when I was younger and worked in companies or whatever, you know, the big shots, I was invisible to the big shots.
I read that post. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that. And now, you know, I'm not invisible anymore, but I know who, you know, has an agenda, who doesn't. And I'm pretty cynical, and I am a contrarian. I don't believe most surveys. I don't trust surveys. Because who knew how much volume someone did Friday, Black Friday, Saturday morning? Oh, the credit card survey. I don't know how many people got jobs this week. You know, 200. So that's it. You know, surveys and whatever. So, but it's something was instilled with me. Best learning and training program ever. You know, I went through growing up very intimidated. I went to Bronx Science. I was so intimidated by the grades they all got. I never spoke in class. I was a B student. I got by hook or crook or whatever. And then I went to City College. You know, public schools, I didn't think, oh, I'm not in a private school today. The anxiety that goes into, and this is New York City,
Yeah.
getting your child into the right nursery school.
Yeah,
And when I
it's
say to
crazy.
people, and I say to audiences at colleges, I don't care where you went to college. I don't care what your grades are. I don't care what your board scores are. I say that. And I get a lot of people, you know, the breeding or the history, what did you learn at fancy private school A, B, or C? You went to the college, what did you learn? I didn't pay any attention. I was bored out of my mind sitting through classes.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I was very good in mathematics. It was natural.
Really?
Oh.
I liked it.
Okay.
I'm very good. You have to be good with numbers also in
Yeah.
our business.
Yeah.
Chemistry codes, I've never used them.
Oh, I loved chemistry.
Once I remembered them.
Yeah.
Calculus, I mean, these classes,
Yeah.
Isosceles triangles, you know, I never drew one again, and I don't even know a parallelogram.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a technology person
Yeah.
because I was probably born too young. But I find that the classes, oh, well, I don't, where'd you go to school? Did you learn how to be a designer?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Savannah.
there are technical things, right?
Yeah.
But is there DNA in well,
Yes, there
what'd your
actually
family
is
do?
DNA.
What'd your family
Well, yeah.
There
Yes, for
actually is
you.
DNA. My
Lem-
new company, the big favorite, was my great grandfather's company.
The reason I ask is when I interview someone, I want to know their history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've learned this over the years. When I was, you know, my department store jobs at Bloomingdale's or whatever, and I loved it in my early years. I learned a lot. And then I quit. And then I went to Macy's briefly. I quit. Then I went to A&S too long, but I had to make a living. And I didn't know what was out there. Anyway, back to DNA.
DNA.
So people who are artists, well, what was the name of this
Well-
company?
It's called the Big Favorite.
What was the creative aspect of that?
The original iteration under my great grandfather, he had a holding company. This was just a denim business. It was like
denim.
It was denim. It was
Okay, there you
overalls
go.
and
There you
jobbers stuff.
go.
Yeah.
And so I connect, artists, musicians, and I'm just my own specific generalizations. Although I know doctors whose kids became doctors, a fair amount. But the creatives, there's a kind of a stream of background.
Can I ask you
interesting.
about
Just
that?
interrupt me. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
No,
about
yeah, that's
about
a
the creative.
great-
That's a
great
really
idea.
interesting
How we
thing
doing?
you're saying. I feel like people today, they put people in boxes because we're very
Especially
we have a
founders.
short attention span. Everything needs to be simple and simplified, and so you're either a creative or you're a business person, and you are one of the prime examples that that's not necessarily mutually exclusive. Those can both exist together.
Well, there's no premium today, in my opinion, on creativity. What business grows without seeing around
Right.
corners?
Right.
And not that Steve Jobs taught me that. He was a perfect disciple of that.
Of that.
Yeah.
He was talking about it, and I'm not tech. I never understood half the things. He knew that too, but we were birds of a feather in a lot of ways. But if you don't, the expected, boring, the unexpected is, and I'm always
Well, he always said like people don't know what they want.
100%.
And he's like,
today,
and people have bad taste. So
to-
like give them
Oh,
something beautiful.
I'm glad you said it.
Yeah.
Do you look at the cars in the streets? I mentioned that before. They all are designed in the same design room.
Yes.
Yeah.
The swoop up, the third little window. And I used to love cars when they came out and all that. I still love the classics.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I have 3 now. The Land Cruiser, everyone loves that car. Who knows? If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
And then I kept an old Mercedes wagon, 1981.
Nice.
One reason. This is nothing. The color.
What
It
was the
a
color?
special order agate green. A woman I worked with, Tasha, had the color. And I said, oh, I love that color. And I had to have it. And color, and then the other one is a 2001, the last BMW that I think was beautifully designed was a Z8, which they didn't make a lot of. And that car, and my daughter wants that car at some
Nice.
point. I said, you better learn how to shift.
Right.
And I
Yeah,
keep
you know.
saying,
Yeah.
you better get lessons on shifting.
Well, you need to teach her.
Me teach my child
Yes.
or my son who it would be
Would not go well?
because they
It
press,
didn't go well for me and my dad
yeah,
either.
they press the clutch, the car
Yeah.
So I let her drive one of the old trucks ish, which was shift. She did okay, but
Yeah.
anyway, so
There you
the
go.
car, the
Give her some
car and
adversity,
2
Mickey.
stories. I'm friendly with the guy who runs the Yale Business School, Jeff, who I really like a lot. I met him years ago, and he would invite me to speak. I love speaking at schools. I love speaking anywhere to kids. He asked, come by and say a few words. And I said, of course, for you, Jeff, anything. So he has all the CEOs there. It's probably, I guess it was about 15. I was with J. Crew then, and he had all the muckamucks there. And I sat like right in the front. He was showing big pictures. The CEO of Ford was there. Jack Nasser, terrifically good person. He was there, and he showed a red Mustang convertible. So he says, what do you think of the car? I said, I'd never buy the car. He said, why? I said, the wheels ruin it. I'm a big detail person.
Yeah.
And if someone wears ugly buttons, or, oh, look at those buttons. Then they invite me to Ford. So I visit, I see, I went to the design room. CEO didn't follow me. And he said, what do you think? I said, there was, I don't know how many, 5 or 6 people designing a Lincoln Continental. Grill person, ... That's like 5 people designing a pair of pants.
Yeah.
One vision.
Yeah.
And it's okay if 5 are there, but who's the leader?
Yeah. Well, there's this really rare balance that I think was the reason why I actually manifested a job with you, because I wanted to work with you for this reason, because you are this really rare marriage between creativity and business. And I think, like, going back to Isabel's question about putting people in boxes, especially now, especially as a founder, somebody with a design background, it's hard for people to see you as a business person. They're like, oh, you care more about design than you do this. And I'm like, yeah, but how are you able to do that?
Well, first of all, I don't like all these. I feel I have to, high standard. But I love watching symphonies. How are they all able?
Such a great
Right.
analogy.
The guy
Yeah.
with the baton of the
Yeah.
woman, and I stare. It's more interesting. Well, I love if the music's,
Good.
Yeah.
Tchaikovsky's, whoever, Fifth. And it happened actually this year that I learned to love symphonies because I never, I was boring. It was fascinating to watch 50 or 60. And and I always wonder what the baton wave does. And I saw the San Francisco. He's dying now, but a wonderful orchestra leader. And he was now at Miami, and a lot of them were young kid orchestras, and I'd sit and I say, isn't that person bored? He or she hasn't picked up the bass for an hour now, and then it's their turn. And I'm wondering if the baton, very curious, and the music, and it's like watching a great movie.
So you're able to see creativity and business as a symphony.
I see creativity in anywhere.
Yeah.
How do some people do what they do?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about how to do rockets.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
very few people do.
right? Creative people, and those I don't admire also.
Aren't you creative, though? I find you incredibly
Yeah.
creative
Well,
with your curiosity. And
I'm a detective.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
my passion. As a consumer,
yeah.
and that's about micromanaging.
Yeah.
And I said, I do. And I love the way he wrote it. He said, I don't micromanage the people in a sense. I micromanage the process,
Yeah.
the consumer facing
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
I do surveys all the time.
Yeah.
I survey people constantly, like the bagel guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said they're always asking for onion bagels. That's a big important tell. They'd sell more onion bagels if they had them than they sell. I guess their best sellers the everything, which is very good. And the slow sellers are, I think, the plain. I wanted to bring bagels back. He offered 25, 30 bagels, whatever, which is good business and marketing, and we became friendly. And he broke them down in 5 assortments. And I said, they're going to all fight over which one, and they don't like the plain. I said, do 30 everythings. Tell them.
Tell them what they need.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
what I
that's
need.
in our industry. I preach that. I haven't done it very well either. Boom, boom, boom.
So my question was going to be about, telling people what they need. There's something there
Yes.
also about simplicity, right? I feel like we're being indoctrinated with we need
Keep
more.
it simple.
Right.
Keep it
Keep
simple.
it focused.
Yeah.
Don't, like for us, I hate that we market 50 different things.
Yeah.
Boom.
So is simplicity the new luxury? Is there
No, it's funny. I had a big lesson in the doctor's office. It wasn't a lesson. It's an awakening.
Yeah.
So I see my doctor, who has a specialty, but he's also he's a GP for me and my family. And I ask him about NIH, and I'm thinking, what an eye opener. How many of you go to a general practitioner who's a specialist? No one ever does. You go to the arm, the hip, the toe, the brain. And I said, you cannot be all things to all people. So now they're going to all understand this message because I say pick the 10 best. I don't know if you know our totes, by the way.
I love them.
Well, they're fucking amazing.
Yeah, they're great totes.
They're a logo, and 18 sold in one day.
Wow.
So I'm thinking, now it's 3 years later. I say, totes, totes, totes. I call it every day. I'm nagging. Totally, TOTE-ALY. Totally totes.
Yeah, totally.
This is
Totes are
totes
amazing.
day. I don't
Pull
want
this
to.
back.
I never want to tell our competitors. None of them ever care.
Yeah.
But I've learned. There's a guy, Andy Grove, was Intel. He was the Steve Jobs of semiconductors.
Wow.
He wrote a book called "Only the Paranoid Survive," and I agree. Really
I
what?
don't agree.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, what do you
okay.
think? What do you think that means?
Like, what is
Only
par-
the
You don't
only the
paranoid
think
paranoid?
so. But
I
what,
don't-
what do you think he was getting at?
Well, I think maybe he's thinking about around the corner. Like
you can't
what's-
trust anyone. You have to always be on your toes.
What's around the corner? Be
Yeah.
on your
That's me.
toes.
Yeah.
I do not allow us to mention our collaborative partners.
Yeah.
Small. I said, if I'm there, I'm a detective. Old Navy started from an article in the New York Times.
Yeah.
They said a quote about Dayton Hudson, then Target, starting a competitor, cheaper competitor to Gap. I flew to Mall of America the week it opened. 3 minutes, I'm out. I'm saying this is not good. And Madewell's another great story. I bought the name. I don't know if you ever knew David Mullen.
No.
David wanted to buy the name. He didn't have, it wasn't that, for me, I could afford. I said,
Yeah.
how much? And then I had it in my imagination for 3 years until we went public. Now, this wasn't a grand plan. I loved work clothes. I loved it, whatever the
Yeah.
famous, I love things. In fact, one of our best pants is a painter's pant. And what's the name of the Carhartt, right
Yeah,
next
Carhartt.
door to
Yeah,
us.
sure.
And you go in, by the way, only the paranoid survive. They think it's nuts. I said, I don't want our Italian shoemaker, Sessa, S-E-S-S-A. So I said, don't mention, they think, well, don't mention the name. I said, no one knows who Sessa is.
I get what you're saying when you mean.
Yeah,
We're
right.
paranoid about, I don't want to say my daughter's boyfriend last time. No, but that's it. You have an instinct and a gut.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want
Okay,
the
go
last
ahead.
thing. The last
go ahead.
thing, because I know
who's
you have
this
to go.
for? I have one more.
I know you have to go.
Some- yeah.
Is that for Phineas or somebody on the
No,
team?
I'm going to skip. You're going to come out to the car, and I have for the team.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can I
What
ask you
else?
one more question
Yeah, go
about
ahead,
this?
quick.
Is about gut.
What about
Okay,
it?
because
That's it. It's
Yes.
about emotion.
It's about-
I look at that and I say, you can't explain why you don't like a painting.
okay, we're showing the
I
camera.
saw
Just put
the-
this a little closer.
I saw the David Hockney exhibit.
Love David Hockney. Love him.
It's worth a trip, and I'm not exaggerating.
His
to
colors
Paris.
are
colors, and color
incredible.
is the key.
It is.
It's the first thing you see.
Yes.
When I got to Gap, I had a picture of what it could be. The mission was to dress people. I loved Ralph
Yeah.
in the old days,
Yes.
and he still does a great job. And I said, "Oh, I'll never forget color." And then
Yes, but okay, text, because I'm just going to share some context. This shirt,
Yeah.
I had a gut feeling about this shirt on the design team at J. Crew, and I said we've got to try this.
Did you show it in that color?
No,
That's
it
the
was
mistake.
in navy. But this
No.
is the only thing I could buy.
Okay, no, but
because
navy-
it was sold out. Okay, wait
On
a
sale
second.
or regular
No,
price?
it was the okay. I got to tell you the story.
And how many did you have? I'd look at the selling
I got-
report. Is it a
I got to
novelty?
tell you this,
Quick,
Mickey.
Go ahead.
Okay, they canceled it in the sketch form.
Is that because I didn't like it?
No,
Or, yeah.
no, it's because the team didn't like it. I put it back. Okay, next season, I put it back on the board. I said, I have a strong feeling about this. Please, can we just make it? Just sample it up. Fine, we sample it up. Merchants come back. They look at it. They love it. They chase into it for the original season it was
Okay,
supposed to
got
be
it.
in. Okay, it gets to Garden State Plaza. You show up. You hate it.
Me?
Yes, you hate it, and you're like, I don't understand. Why do we buy this? It turned out to be the best seller in
I don't
all of
care.
women's that quarter. Now, in hindsight, Mickey, This shirt, I totally understand why you hate it. It
No,
doesn't
no,
age
but
well.
I hate the color.
I know the color's not.
No, if you showed me a good color,
But it was still not that
but a
good.
color is a P&L.
It is.
Every color.
So this was the worst selling color. This was the only thing I could
Show
buy.
me. No, I know, but I can't imagine that.
In a blue?
You know, it's
Blue and white. It was in blue and white.
Fine.
That's how I
So should I
designed
take it and we'll make it again?
No, I don't think you should.
No, I'll take a picture of it.
I don't think you should.
Why not?
Because I don't think it's relevant anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to,
it's not
come on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
giving-
Thank you. Come here. We're going to get a picture and I'm giving you a gift. I'm giving you some big favorite.
Oh, I can't. They're still around.
This is
Well,
my
it's her
company.
new. It's her new company based on her grandfather's.
Well, let's do a collaboration.
Yes!
I love the name.
Fuck yeah.
I love this name. Oh,
Look.
it's goods.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good.
yeah.
Here,
Oh,
It's
the
the
new,
best.
and you own this name?
Yeah.
What the fuck? We're going to do business and we're going to do a podcast
Thank you.
show.
Yes, I
Oh,
love
I
it.
love this
I love
name.
it.
The big, holy shit.
Undershirts and underwear.
The
all
best.
schema.
The best. Feel this.
I love these.
Okay, good. They're all
Okay, the
packed.
big.
Look, I got you Heather and I
Oh, we're
got you
doing
White.
it. Okay, but I want to use this name.
Well,
for
yes,
the big
let's
favorite
do it.
everything.
Let's do it.
And we'll license it. We'll figure something
love
out.
it.
Okay, you know how I
Okay,
found Old Navy? I looked at a bar. I
Okay,
bought
here.
Madewell.
Put
The
it in here.
names are important as hell. Now I'm going to have a meeting.